Donald Trump signed a horrendous new executive order. It requires that, quote, for every one new regulation issued, at least 2 prior regulations be identified for elimination. Twitter lit into him for this because that is the logic of a child. For every one new one, we're going to eliminate 2. Tremendous, believe me. Okay, hey, jackass, get out of the world of theory and philosophy for a second and understand that the regulations on the books usually have a reason for them. Now, I'm not saying there isn't unnecessary red tape that happens from time to time. Of course that exists, and I'd be in favor of eliminating that like any reasonable person would. But to pull arbitrary numbers out of your rectum... yeah, for every one, we're going to eliminate 2. And that's what we're going to do. I know. An in-depth analysis from Columbia University found that when we add a new regulation, we could eliminate 2 and everything will still be tremendous, believe me. Oh, man, that's so dumb. Now, understand, this was a campaign talking point that he did when he was running for office. He says, every new one, we're going to eliminate 2. And the crowd's like, deregulate everything. Chemicals in the water is wonderful. Well, now he's actually doing it. So credit on this one. This is a rare time I'm going to give Trump credit for consistency. Because usually he's contradicting himself on virtually every issue. Here's one where he was like, no, I said it. I'm going to do it. For every new one, we eliminate 2. That's what we're going to do. Now, furthermore, what's the ultimate goal of this? Well, don't take my word for it. Take it from Donald Trump last week when he spoke about this.
We think we can cut regulations by 75%. Maybe more, but by 75%.
75%. We can cut regulations by 75%. Really, Don? Please, name me those regulations. Like, they're such ideologues. There are regulations on the books that, prevent against air pollution, prevent against water pollution, like the Clean Air and Clean Water Act. There are regulations that don't allow businesses to dispose of things in a way that would threaten communities. There are regulations and guidelines on how you can do fracking. That's an area where we need even more regulations. But there are reasons behind these things. I mean, there are economic rules that are regulations. Hey, Wall Street can't leverage to this amount because that would threaten the stability of the economy. Like, you have to understand that a practical problem would arise, and then you'd have the government go, okay, well, we need to do something about this. What should we do? Well, the best course of action is to have a regulation that says X, Y, and Z. Building codes are regulations. Hey, if there's a hurricane that hits, southern Florida, you need to make sure that the buildings are built in a certain way so that it could withstand a storm surge of X number of feet and it could withstand winds of up to however many miles per hour. There are people who worked really hard to fix real problems, real issues, and have regulations that save lives. And these clowns come along, drunk on Ayn Rand Kool-Aid. They're like, yeah, no, you just eliminate them. That's 75%. 75%? Look, I'm a reasonable dude. Perhaps I'm far too kind and reasonable to the right-wingers here. If he came out and said 10%, I wouldn't be doing this segment. If he came out and said 20%, which, by the way, 20% is really, really large. Let's just cut regulations 20%. That's what we'll do. But I still wouldn't do this segment. This motherfucker said 75%. We're gonna cut 75%, maybe more. Maybe more. Maybe we cut 92.6% of the regulations. It would be tremendous, believe me. Well, that's just a horrible idea. And this is, again, ideology overriding empirical reality and the consequences of going down this road. This is the same thing as Trump did his federal government hiring freeze. And then the VA reaches out to him and goes, no, you can't do that. First of all, we prioritize hiring veterans. So you're stopping us from hiring veterans who are one of your key constituencies who you said you're going to look out for. Now you're taking away their jobs. But furthermore, we're understaffed. We're chronically understaffed. We need to hire more people. Trump and his administration were like, no, wrong. We're going to hiring freeze everywhere in the federal government. Hiring freeze, tremendous, believe me. Well, again, you're letting your ideology override the empirical reality and the effects of what would actually happen in the real world when you implement your philosophy. So it's a sad, sad thing to watch. And now we have a lunatic pulling numbers out of his ass. For every one new regulation, we eliminate 2. And overall, we're going to eliminate 75%, maybe more of the regulations. Huh. Then get ready for the wild, wild west and a system that's very similar to anarcho-capitalism. And remember, in U.S. history, the times where we've been closer to that kind of a system, what happened? Giant economic crashes. Boom-bust cycles. So the Great Depression, for example, deregulated massively, cut taxes on the rich. You had the economy take off, the roaring 20s, it's going to be great forever. And then, oh shit, it all came crashing down and we're in the Great Depression. The Great Recession. Again, what happened? You had neoliberal policies under Clinton, and then you had even further deregulatory policies and trickle-down economics implemented under Bush. More tax cuts for the rich, more deregulation, and oh shit, the economy was a house of cards and it crashed. So we're going to see the same thing again here. What do you think? It's not the same thing's not going to happen? Of course it's going to happen. You deregulate, you cut taxes for the rich, you're going to have another boom. Oh, everything's great. It's going to be great forever. Oh shit, there's another crash. So hear me now, quote me later, it's happening, and he's totally unaware of it because he's not that bright, and he's pushing ridiculous policies like cutting 75% or more of regulations.